Agenda item, formerly known as agenda item 1, is IWC 17011R, Morgan High School Sidewalk Connector, 35-7.1, Turnpike, permitted one public applicant, easement owner, regulated activity within 50 feet of wetlands, construction of a sidewalk for pedestrian access to the school. Assessors map 41, 42, lot 45, lines 81, 49, 77, 77, 76A, 76B, 75B, 75A, and 75 zone R. This is our public hearing. That then postponed to this date. We do have a applicant's representative here. We've got a number of things that came in recently. Let me just check, were any of these change modified, or was it more in the last set? Was the last set changed at all?
You basically address comments from.
Just comments, you addressed them in a separate pages.
Possibly, that's the address of the comments from Stevens.
Okay. All right. So, all right, so we do have folks in. So for the benefit of folks who may not have been here before when we took this up and received the application, can you give an overview and obviously state your name for the record and, if possible, try to project the folks who are in there, yeah.
To address both.
Yeah, thank you. Okay.
All right, for the record, my name is Andy Bevilacqua. I'm a professional engineer with Diversified.
Town of Clinton legal notice of public hearing. The Town of Clinton Inland Wetlands Commission will hold a public hearing on Tuesday, February 6th, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the green room of the William Stanton Andrews Memorial Town Hall, 54 East Main Street, Clinton, Connecticut, to consider the following. IWC 17-011R, Morgan High School Sidewalk Connector, 35 through 71 Killingworth Turnpike, Town of Clinton Public Works applicant, Town of Clinton easement owner. Regulated activity within 50 feet of wetlands, construction of a sidewalk for pedestrian access to school. Assessors map 41 and 42, block 45, lots 81, 80, 49, 77A, 77, 76A, 76B, 75B, 75A, and 75. Zone R20, postponed from January 2nd, 2018. At said hearing, all persons will have the right to be heard and written communication received. The applications and accompanying maps and correspondence are available for public inspection in the Land Use Office of the Town Hall, dated at Clinton, Connecticut, this 25th day of January 2018. David Ratke, Chair, Clinton Inland Wetlands Commission. Emailed to the Harbor News to appear 2 times on Thursday, January 18th, 2018, and Thursday, January 25th, 2018, and emailed to the New Haven Register to appear 1 time on Thursday, February 1st, 2018.
We do have correspondence, but for the benefit of you all in the audience, this is the start of the public hearing, which is just part of our regular meeting this evening. And everything is being recorded, as you know. What we'll do is we'll take evidence into the records on this application, and we will follow the process whereby we'll get an overview by the applicant's engineer, consulting engineer. We'll then provide an opportunity for members of the public to comment in favor, against, just general comment. We'll give the applicant an opportunity to address any of those comments, and then we will either continue the public hearing or we'll close it. And then once we move into our decision-making phase, we can only consider information and evidence that has been brought into the record through the public hearing, okay, at that point. So at that point, the public will no longer be able to provide comment, nor will we be able to accept other information except as might come from staff, okay? So, sorry, Andy, go ahead.
Okay. For the record, Andy Bevilacqua.
Yes, some correspondence.
Okay. Sure. Sorry.
Following is a list of documents received through February 5th, 2018. All documents are on file in the Land Use Office. Dated November 20th, 2017, Document B-100A, project sign-off by the CRA-HD. Dated December 8th, 2017, letter from Stevens, engineer review with 17 comments. Dated December 22nd, 2017, mailings to the abutters, public hearing notification. December 22nd, 2017, mailing to the Board of Education, public hearing notification. January 1st, 2018, letter from NEF, extension to open public hearing. January 6th, 2018, mailing to abutters, public hearing notification. January 10th, 2018, letter to Treichel. January 10th, 2018, staff review, 19 comments. January 10th, 2018, mailing to abutters, public hearing notification. January 19th, 2018, email from Treichel to Stevens and Associates, response to December 8th, 2017 engineering report. December 19th, 2018, email to from Treichel, response to January 10th, 2018 staff comments. January 22nd, 2018, letter from Stevens, all engineering comments have been addressed. January 23rd, 2018, letter to Treichel. January 23rd, 2018, staff review, 10 comments. And February 5th, 2018, letter to Treichel. February 5th, 2018, staff review, 8 comments. Would anyone like to have a document on this list read into the record?
Just to clarify, the December 8th, 2017 from Stevens revised to January 22nd, that I went through and noticed that every comment had been addressed.
Yes.
So let's read the February 5th. It seems like there were maybe a few more comments and goes with the staff letter. Order by 2018.
February 5th, 2018, John Treichel, Program Director, DTC Incorporated, regarding IWC 17-011R Morgan High School Sidewalk Connector, 35-71 Killingworth Turnpike, Town of Clinton, Department of Public Works, Town of Clinton. Dear Mr. Treichel, thank you for your response to our January 23rd, 2018 staff comments. New comments are in bold. On the application for wetlands permit, as to number 10, this comment has been addressed, bullet 6D- upland review area altered. This comment has been addressed, bullet 7, proposed start and completion dates. On the site plan, see new comments below. On compliance with Clinton and Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Regulations, IWC Regulations, Section 7, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.3C, applicant's interest in land. Comment 3, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.3I, adjacent property owners. Comment 4, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.4A.3, soils types. Comment 5, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.4A.4, contours. Comment 6, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.4A.5, limits of grading. Comment 7, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.4B, engineering report. Comment 8, this comment stands as to Section 7.4C, ecological communities and functions of the wetlands and watercourses. The description of all the communities and functions must be submitted. Comment 9, this comment stands as to Section 7.4D, biological evaluation. All elements of this section must be provided. Comment 10, this comment has been addressed in part as to Section 7.4E, effective project upon a watercourse. All elements of this section must be provided. Comment 11, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.4F, mitigation of impacts to wetlands or a watercourse. These should be addressed and added to the respective plan sheets. Comment 12, this comment has been addressed as to Section 7.6, off-site project effects on adjacent municipalities. On compliance with the Inland Wetlands and Watercourse Regulations, IWC Regulations, Section 9. Comment 13, this comment stands as to Section 9.2, documentation submittal. All documentary evidence in support of the application must be available at the Land Use Office for public review no less than 15 days from the date of the public hearing. Comment 14, this comment has been addressed as to section 9.4, mailing to abutters and all parties of record. On the December 8th, 2015 engineering review by Thomas Stevens and Associates Incorporated, comment 15, all engineering comments have been addressed. General comments, number 16, this comment stands. Since the commission has deemed your project meets the definition of a significant activity, all elements of section 7.3, 7.4, and 9 of the IWC regulations must be met, including but not limited to the submission of reasonable and prudent alternatives to the proposed activity. Comment 17, this comment stands. Sidewalks are proposed only on the east side of Killingworth Turnpike. Comment 18, this comment stands. The applicant has granted a 17-day extension from January 20th, 2018, the last day to open the public hearing per statute, to February 6th, 2018. New comments on the site plan. Comment 19, the revised plans submitted to the Land Use Office on January 22nd, 2018 do not have revision dates and notes, i.e. addressed January 10th, 2018 staff comments on them. Please do so and submit in a FTP format if possible, as well as submitting one hard copy to the Land Use Office. Comment 20, this comment stands. Any future revised plans should show all revision dates and notes. For any future amended plans, you should submit them digitally in an FTP format. Submit 3 hard copies to the Land Use Office and send Stevens and Associates LLC a digital copy to expedite the review. For any additional documents, you may submit them digitally. In accordance with the regulations, the evidentiary documents must be submitted no less than 15 days prior to the start of the public hearing. And this is signed Sherry Lee Haynes, Land Use Technician.
Thanks, Jeff.
Once again, Andy Bevilacqua, professional engineer with Diversified Technology Consultants. So to give a quick overview of the project, essentially what the project is intended to do is to extend the sidewalk on the east side of Route 81 from its current terminus, which is a little bit north of the existing or the prior high school, and extend that sidewalk all the way to the new high school. And the idea is to create a continuous sidewalk that will run from the new high school essentially into downtown as one continuous section. So it's about 1,800 feet or so of sidewalk that's being added. We're essentially just adding it right to the edge of the existing pavement that's out there. Small grass strip for snow plowing, and then the sidewalk itself. There's 2 wetland areas which appear on that east side as we run down the road. And both sections the wetland areas are essentially up against the bottom of the slope of the roadway embankment. So in order to provide the sidewalks that we need, we have to kind of bump the embankment over a bit. So in order to accomplish that, we looked at a couple of different options and decided that a retaining wall was the best option at each one of the wetland areas so that we could minimize the impact. Essentially, I think we end up with like 300 square feet of total impact to the wetlands themselves as a result of this work. In the existing condition, stormwater runoff from the road essentially just sheet flows off the side of the road. Because we're adding a sidewalk in, the sidewalk has got to be elevated above the road for safety purposes. So we're providing a curb, and the sidewalk is essentially 6 inches above where the road section would be. That creates a bit of a problem from the standpoint of stormwater runoff, because it won't be able to now sheet flow like it historically has. So we're adding some additional drainage, some drainage inlets and some drainage outlets to be able to collect that stormwater and ensure that the road doesn't flood. We had, in the location of the outfalls, our original plans, we had a greater impact on the wetlands because of basically the location of where those outfalls were going to be constructed. And we made some adjustments to that to try to pull the outfalls away from direct wetland impacts. So we can still discharge to the wetlands, but we'll be discharging and constructing our outfalls within the upland areas.
Are you referring specifically to wetland, I think we called it wetland 1?
Yeah. wetland, or is it wetland?
Is that wetland one?
I think this is wetland one, yeah. I think it's
The one that's covered.
Yeah.
Sheet Y3?
Yep.
The one that's showing on Y3. So that's the one where you changed the outfall?
Yeah, so,
Changed the outfall?
right, originally we had the outfall down, further down in the wetlands. There's a little stream crossing that runs through there. We were basically putting the outfall in that location. So the problem with that is that the outfall itself it's like 8 or 9 feet deep and 8 or 9 feet wide with a plunge pool in it. That would have had to be constructed within the wetlands. So we decided instead of impacting the wetlands, we would pull that outfall back so we could discharge it in the upland area immediately adjacent to the wetlands. It would still function the same way, discharge would still end up in the wetlands, but we pulled away.
That was the one that had the concrete, it already had a concrete,
Headwall?
had-
Yes, that's
and
for
then it
the
had
stream.
big pipe and that
Right,
was
that's for
further
the
in
stream
there.
crossing,
Yeah.
correct. So originally, we were trying to bring the outfalls closer to those crossings, but there really is no benefit to doing that, but you have a much greater wetland impact. So the idea was to pull that back, and that'll also provide stormwater to feed the wetlands as well, which is an additional benefit along that length. So we'll just enter the wetlands, flow along the wetlands are essentially a roadside ditch more than anything else, to be honest with you. So we follow that and then enter the culvert to cross.
Oh, sure, I got it. So where is the outfall?
Outfall training.
Where was the
And those are the
original?
wetlands here. The outfall was originally down over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that was modified?
Yeah, so it was, yeah, but like I said, it was, we were trying to keep it close to the
Yes, yes,
existing
okay.
crossing, but decided, it doesn't, there's not enough benefit to that to impact all those wetlands. And I think the 300 square feet of wetland impact that we have, I believe, is right in this area, where our width just kind of starts interfering with that wetland edge.
There were some weird paths in that.
Yeah,
So the impact to that wetland was then limited to construction of the retaining wall?
correct. And it's just right along the edge of the fringe of that wetland area.
And how about the other one?
We're able to fit the outfalls in outside the limits of the wetlands themselves. And that retaining wall also it will be outside the limits of the wetlands, just because those wetlands just have to be a little further back than the location.
So where are you starting to pick up drainage from?
Our first catch basin's right here.
It's all sheet flow.
Right now it's all sheet flow.
Your strong catch basins farther back towards the school.
Right, so the curves that'll run along here, this is our first catch basin right here. And then there's another one right here before the outfall. And then there's a system that comes in the other direction. Catch basin there. And another catch basin here. Try to space them 300 feet or so, which is, normal for catch basin spacing.
So could you describe the catch basin construction
Yep.
design? You have punch pools, you have riprap.
Yeah, so for the catch basins themselves, they're standard catch basins with sumps. And those sumps will be able to accommodate some of the sediments. We found that within the wetland areas, the roadside, essentially the roadside swales, over time have gotten kind of filled up with the road sands and all. And this proposal will help with that, because now you're going to have catch basins with sumps that will collect some of that sediment. And you'll also have riprap outfalls. It's in the set that we submitted. So she. Like, so just so you get a feel for what that punch pool is going to look like. sheet DT6. So it's 9 feet by 7.5 feet. So essentially, it's a riprap pad with a depressed plunge pool in the center. So basically, the water will come in, it'll accumulate in the plunge pool, rise up, and then spill out. And that plunge pool itself will also provide a means for collecting sediments as well, and depositing sediments before they get into the wetlands.
That's proposed for.
That's proposed for each one of the outfalls, yes.
Is there a schedule for how frequently they need to be cleaned out, so that you don't just get the sediment piling up there and eventually it's useless to get full of sediment?
Right, I don't think we've had that necessarily addressed.
It's actually done by the state.
You do.
Is it, that's right?
Yeah, it's in your.
Is it, okay. Yeah, the maintenance, because this is a state highway, the state will own all of these systems, it will be the state's responsibility to maintain.
I think on sheet ES1, you have your
Okay.
erosion sedimentation control narrative and maintenance.
One,
Plan, you got everything in there?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, sheet ES1.
two, this one, that's from down here, comes down here, clicks here.
We did consider putting the sidewalk on the other side of the road, but after review of that option, the intent really was to be able to provide a path for people coming from the high school to be able to walk, down to the old high school site and whatever that becomes, and also down into downtown. If we put the sidewalk on the other side of the road, then students are going to have to cross the road in multiple locations in order to accomplish that walk. And we felt that throwing crosswalks and forcing students out on the street and having to cross is a safety issue, and really did not consider that further. We also had discussions with DOT. As I mentioned, it's a DOT road. They did not like that option either. And I fear that if that's the route we went, they probably would have denied us the ability to do the works.
And you have to have some type of lights.
Yeah, right.
Stuff up.
Yeah, you have the flashers and.
DOT
Right.
gets very touchy about
Yeah,
it.
and rightly so. I mean, it's a heavily traveled road, people are going fast.
So what we've got is maintenance of outfalls, inspect twice a year for debris, leaves, sediment, so they're clean. Catch basins, sump cleaning, inspect twice a year for sediment clean as needed. So this would be responsibility of DPW?
DOT, because it's a DOT road.
It's a strange relationship. I don't know if you remember me telling you when we had our first meeting, but the DOT is responsible for everything. John Truckle. DOT has a strange agreement with the town. You're just responsible to maintain the sidewalk. Now, if we've done other things, remember discussions, we were looking at a bridge, we would have had to maintain that if we did the bridge option. Instead of the dry retaining wall, the sheet panel, we would have to maintain that. So these were the earlier discussions that we had in the first task of evaluating various alternatives, which there were 3. There were previous meetings with the selectmen and the town informational public hearings, where this was all reviewed. But basically, that's the line, is the DOT is responsible to maintain the storm drainage that we built and the curb. And believe it or not, the fencing, the canopy, everything else, with the exception of sidewalk.
So those were your feasible alternatives you reviewed and then rejected because you.
They were. And then we met with the board of selectmen and went over that with them, and they directed us to go with it.
Could you provide some narrative about the retaining wall construction? Sure. The sequence and.
Yeah.
And
I can say this again.
as I recall, that's really the only direct impact, wetland impact
Correct.
is linear strip along the southern end.
Okay, so this is sheet DT3. three up in the top left-hand corner, you can see a section of what that wall will look like. It's going to be large modular block. And essentially, we'll have to dig down a couple of courses, which would be a few feet, trench, put down stone, and then the wall would start getting stacked from there.
What's the encroachment into what?
How far it's encroaching? Oh, it's just a couple of feet, that one small section on that first wetland area.
More like this, have an expected lifespan? How long do you think?
A wall like this, because it's a gravity wall, I mean, as long as there's, nobody damages it, it would be there indefinitely.
Well, I'm trying to drive this, obviously, you're going to impact the wetland once, and then essentially never again, because
Correct.
the wall will be there forever.
Correct.
So is this the, in the application, there's construction indoor pond wetland water course of 0.002 acres, would that be the?
Right, that would be the actual wall intrusion itself, and then the balance of that is just, you can't work up to the outside face of the wall, you still have to get in there and do additional work to set those blocks. But by virtue of the construction type, it should be fairly easy. We don't need to do an awful lot standing out in the wetlands. Once you get down there and you dig your, you dig your trench for your, to set the wall in, that's about it. Then the wall just gets picked up from the street and dropped in place, and they just stack it right in. So there won't be a lot of work that's going to be necessary in the wetlands themselves to build this.
So you'd be working from the upland?
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll have to get down there, obviously, to set the erosion control, which will run erosion control on the entire length of the project to limit those, impacts.
What time of year are you proposing to do?
Time of year, we looking at.
Well, we're hoping to get it out and built next season. But again, after your approval, we go to DOT again, over the final plans, they have to approve it. So it all depends on,
Next season, you mean spring?
pardon?
Spring next season?
I don't know, we're hoping to build it, yes, next summer.
Oh, so like you could do it in the dry season when it's not
Right.
wet?
Right.
Oh, perfect.
We're hoping,
By next summer, 2019?
no, we're hoping
This
this year.
year. This year.
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah.
We've already gone to the DOT, so it should go through relatively quickly, but, I'm not gonna make that promise.
Out of curiosity, you recall when we did our site walk and we were looking at the plans and it was showing that, at least on the plans, with I don't
Yeah.
recall the date, that was showing the flow coming
Yeah.
through those culverts going,
Yeah.
I guess, west,
Yeah,
under the road, which made no sense, right?
yeah, we checked it.
And it still shows that on the plan.
We checked it, believe it or
But
not.
I did check this wetland area, we're talking about the southernmost one on the USGS street stats, to see what the upland area, what the drainage area was, and also just to verify which way it's draining. It's obviously draining towards the Indian River. And the catchment area is 0.0299 acres, I'm sorry, square miles, with no wetland. So it's a very small area, but we want to make sure that the timing of such moving forward will be done, even though there's probably very little flow coming through that drainage pipe, that we work outside in a period when there could be significant rainfall. It sounds like
Yeah, just by virtue of-
to do that, and it's not going to take that long.
Right, but just by virtue of timing, that's probably about the timeframe we're talking about, is summer anyway. In order to get through the DOT, get the thing to bid, get construction started, we should be on target for that.
Are we allowed to ask questions?
Yep, as soon as he's done, as soon as we have a few more, then we will open up, yes, ma'am, we will. If you could talk a little bit more about the ordinance sedimentation control, so you're gonna put them up, what are they gonna look like in both these areas? Is it silt fence?
It's just gonna be silt fence, right, and we'll run that along the entire, essentially the entire length of the project. ES2 shows the
emergency sanitation control for the catch basin.
Here's ES1.
ES2. Yep, so ES1's got the silt fence, and then the inlet protection for the catch basins, yes, that's also part of the silt issue I show it here. You can see we got the catch basin, the IP, which is for the inlet protection. So that's essentially a silt sack that will sit underneath the grade to collect things during construction.
That's your detail on ES1.
Yep. And if you look at ES2, it's referred to as IP, so it's inlet protection. That's by DOT standard.
So anywhere where you have IP, that's a protection around one of those catch basins.
Right. Well, actually, it'd be in the catch basin, so it'd be, yeah. And then as you can see on sheet ES2, we've got the erosion control that runs the full length of the project, and it'll be just outside the project limits. Keep it tight up as tight as we can.
You're gonna run the entire, not beyond, well beyond.
Yeah, yeah, we'll run the full length of the project.
Steps up here.
Do folks have any other questions for Dan? All right, so what we'll do then is, open the public. If anyone would like to speak in favor of the application, if you could just come up and say your name for the record. And you'll make your comment to me, and after Andy or John will right on. Anybody in favor of the application? Yeah? Give you another chance at the end, just general comment. Anyone against this application? Anyone not in favor? Just speak against it. Anybody have just a general, anyone have any questions on it that they would like? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name's Deborah Anderson. I no longer have children over in the high school, but it's, I'm really happy that there will be a safe way for kids to get back and forth.
Could you just ask your address, please?
Oh, I'm 12 Christina Court in Clinton. Yeah. So what I'm gathering is that the road waste prior to this proposal is percolating, the water is percolating through soil before it gets to the wetland, correct? So that's, in essence, filtering away salt, gasoline, before it actually gets into the wetland. And now we are going to be redirecting it to areas that are now going to be closer to the wetland, a little bit more sensitive. Is the drainage system that you're proposing going to mitigate any of those risks?
Can I respond, or would you like to the answer?
Yes, please. Okay.
Yeah, essentially, so in the existing condition, there's nothing along the edge of the road, so it just sheets off and goes down the slope. And we found significant evidence within those wetlands of sediment that's deposited over the years. So basically none of that sand and salt and all that stuff is getting intercepted before it gets to the wetlands. It's just accumulating in the wetlands. With the drainage systems that we're proposing, the catch basins will have sumps, basically areas below the pipes where that sediment can collect. And in addition, at the outfalls, the outfalls are going to be into a stone pad that has a depressed area in the center. And that, in addition, would also collect sediments that come off the road. So we can expect there to be less sediment impact on the wetlands long term. And with the sediment comes metals and a lot of the contaminants that you deal with. A lot of that's going to get trapped now between the catch basin sumps and those plunge pools that we're putting.
But gasoline floats. So is that going to be?
Oh, you mean like for a spill and that kind of a thing? Yeah, I mean, I guess in the event that the catch basins are completely full of water, so if you had a time when there wasn't a lot of rain, any of that kind of spill would first be caught in the catch basins themselves before it's spilled out. So you have that benefit. But yeah, it's not, if you had a major spill, that would continue into the wetlands just like it would today.
Do you have anything else? No?
Nope, thanks.
Okay. Anybody else have any, yes?
My name is John Hutchins. I own property 49 Killingworth Turnpike, which is the last house on the right just before the new high school. I don't know where the drainage, where that stream there, what wetland that's considered closest to the high school, the new one.
Yeah, that's wetlands, and the wetlands 2 we're referring to that.
That's
Yep.
wetlands too. I have I'm sure this is gonna change the whole water flow. I have a tremendous amount of water coming off, pull off there, just before the guardrail, run, down my yard, down the driveway into the waterway there. So with the sidewalk going in there, they're gonna have to accommodate a lot of water flow, which I'm sure is probably being considered in engineering. Yeah, I don't know what that looks like. I'm gonna have to get more involved with the public deal with all of this, which is way up on.
Did you do a hydraulic analysis?
Drainage analysis, size of pipe. Yeah.
Size of pipe? Is that,
Yeah.
that's part of the record?
And sir, if you want to look at these plans, they're available in the land use office here in Town Hall, which you go out the back door here and all the way to the end.
They're real, that's what, thank you.
Okay, is that what you're looking for?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you can look at these whenever you want during Town Hall hours. Again, our office is open 9 to 4 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 to 7 on Thursday, and 9 to 12 on Friday. And again, out this door, down to the end of the hall, the last door to the right-hand side.
Thank you, that answers that question. And the other thought that I was considering, I have a quarter-acre property on the south side of my house that, if curving the sidewalk goes up, I'm considering maybe this is the time where I might want to apply for driveway access to that property, which it's a state highway, so I'm going to have to talk to them, obviously. So before you put ground on this whole thing, I may want to be kicking that around as well, but,
Obviously, getting engineer, can just say this further, but DOT, as you just said, controls curb cuts on
I knew that,
81.
yeah,
So
correct,
we need to
right,
talk to them about the curb cuts. And certainly from the standpoint of towns spending the money, if you want to put your curb cut in before we do all of this, that'd be better than
it's
putting the sidewalk in
kind
there.
of putting the horse in the right place. I think so. So, yeah.
I take it you didn't make the informational public hearing?
I was not available. I was out of
That's fine.
town.
We had promised the residents that we would, once we get through all the bureaucracy and the approvals, we would meet with them again. Because some of your neighbors had some other concerns that we wanted to get into the design documents. So
Right,
we'll still
yeah.
do that.
I was in South Carolina.
That's okay, we're allowed to go in.
But anyway, no, I'm not too pressed to worry about it. Imagine that I'm gonna be losing a huge pine tree, which is right big there.
Yeah, there's a few trees, there's a few walls that are gonna have to come down.
Yeah. But other than that, I'm sure you've engineered the water flow. You know what it is, so I'm not too worried. It's gonna drastically change. I don't know what it's gonna look like. My driveway's gonna look like.
Yep.
We're trying
Nice
to
new concrete
steal,
apron.
Yeah, right.
we're trying to steal some of that roadway that's there, that looks like a trap for somebody to get caught speeding.
Oh, right,
There's
yeah.
enough bumps out there, so it might not be as bad as we think. it is.
No, I don't think it is, to be honest. I must have worried about it, because that does pull over there.
Right.
Right. But, no, that's, at this point, like I said, what you say, when you had that meeting, or what was it, September, or?
Oh, God, it was 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, right, I think it was September.
Like I said, we're gonna have another one.
You are.
And we'll
okay.
send letters to everybody.
Perfect, thank you. So, outside, if there's any concerns, I'm dealing with the Public Works Department,
That's correct. Yep,
which is over on Odd Road, or?
correct.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions or looking for clarification? Anything relative to the project?
I just have one question on 45 Killingworth Turnpike, Norton, Jeff.
You just say your name.
Jeff Norton. I'm more concerned about speed through those areas, and when you talk about how far off the main road the sidewalk would be, as you go towards the wall, or the old high school. It's very wide there. But we're only coming a couple feet in from the road. Is there anybody talking about, the speed through those areas and how to slow people down? I think that's one of the big concerns about the sidewalk being very
legitimate
close to the
concern. Unfortunately, it's not part of what we can take into consideration.
Right.
But
I know
I'm
this
sure
is
these
wetlands
guys
here, so.
can tell you what they've already looked at and the design, which has guardrail and things on the roadside of the sidewalk. You're free to come up if you want, look at the plan in detail, or go to the
I'm
land
sure
use
that we'll be
office.
talking,
Sure.
yeah.
You guys want to briefly just mention
I live at the
public
bottom.
safety aspect?
Well,
of the
yeah,
road, and that's where they put the gas on, right where I live, down at the bottom. So I can imagine what they're going, but even, the half mile up to where you live.
Right.
So when they come around the turn at the bottom, they're hammering the gas. So, by the time they get up to you, 60, 70.
Not that I want
I
to
will say
worry.
this, when police, when those lights are flashing, are getting them. They really are. Because I used to witness it.
Our house was actually hit by a car last, when was that? 43A.
Okay.
Really?
And you state your name, please, for the record.
I'm sorry, Tom Schultz at 43A. So traffic is an issue.
Oh, yeah.
We were lucky because it was
Yeah.
a crash to our neighbors.
I just didn't know if there was speed limit changes maybe coming or anything like that. I don't
Controlled
know.
by the DOT.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
yeah, and the project itself is not gonna change that. I mean,
Right.
we're not touching the road itself. The safety considerations here are people walking in the shoulder, Now we can get them off onto the sidewalk, which is a much safer situation. And that's the reason why the sidewalk's elevated 6 inches to, so cars coming along, less likely to hop that curb and get over and do damage.
Thank you. Anybody else? Do you folks have any? Chris or? Question?
You asked everything I would have asked.
Let's then circle back to a few items, and before we close the public hearing, I want to make sure we have ample opportunity to make sure everything's addressed. Just those items in the staff letter, so that they're not left hanging.
Yeah, we did not do a detailed biological, or habitat assessment of the wetlands. We just felt that we're really working at the very edge fringes of those wetlands, and our impacts are so minor that, the cost to send a biologist out there and to do a full, detailed analysis of those wetlands, we didn't think it was justified to incur that kind of expense for the town. So we did not do that. I did have my soil scientist who was out there, who did the wetland flagging, provide me with some comments and input, which was submitted to the commission in letter form, I believe.
I'm referring to it's the first section following the application.
Yes.
Which is the supplemental information.
Yep.
Title Supplemental information. As to section 7.4C, ecological communities and functions of the wetland and water course. Based on DTC's field observations, wetland one's ecological and functions will not change. There is no direct disturbance of the wetland. All right, so wetland one is the northern. Okay, make sure you got it. The only change is the wetland will not receive the untreated roadway stormwater via sheet flow. Instead, it will receive treated polished stormwater from 2 point sources with erosion prevention riprap pads. To your point. Wetland 2 will be slightly impacted due to the addition of the retaining wall. However, wetland 2 is basically an oversized drainage swale, which has been slowly filling with eroded sediment and has low value. No part of this project is within the Connecticut Deep Natural Diversity Database. Due to no direct impact to wetland 1 and minimal impact to wetland 2, DTC did not conduct a biological evaluation because we feel they are not pertinent to the proposed activity. Effect of the project on a water course, the effect of the project on the water course will be positive in regard to turbidity levels, since the water currently entering the water course is minimally treated by sheet flow, to now being proposed treated with catch basin sumps, which allow solids to set off prior to discharge. The changes to bacteria and flow will be negligible until very minimal changes to the wetland and upland area. Mitigation measures will be used in construction, include silt fence along all wetland areas and silt sacks and or hay bales with all stormwater inlets. This will keep sediment and any construction debris from entering the wetland area. These measures will remain in place until all vegetation has been established. Catch basins will be installed with sumps to help prevent road sediment from entering the wetland area. First question is just, I'll direct it to you. Do you think that narrative sufficiently addresses the standing staff comment?
Well, I guess what I would say is, you guys are the finders of fact. If you think that his explanation gives you enough facts to work from, then that addresses my comments. I just wanted to make sure you had the opportunity to get as much information as you felt you needed here. Again, you've heard from Ms. Revelacqua that he feels that because of the minimal impact, that there essentially is no need to do these sorts of reports. That's a factual determination for you to decide. If you think you don't need it because you have enough information, then you're good. You can waive that requirement. I just wanted to make sure that the commission had the opportunity at least to ask those questions if they wanted more information.
Yep, I appreciate that, thank you. Does anyone on the commission feel we need more information relative to the function, value and function of the wetland downstream? Everybody do the sidewalk?
I don't feel I need any more information. I'm good.
I think I'm good too.
Good.
I don't see that from here.
By consensus, I think that will be sufficient for our purposes.
That's-
Is there anything else? Everything been addressed here? Is there anything outstanding relative to the application?
I don't think so. That was it.
So, yeah, that's what we're just
So we
discussing.
just did all that. I think you're good for all these.
I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay, just to affirm the feasible improvement alternative, just so we got those guys, we captured as part of the record. Could you just quickly describe again the various types of alternatives?
Sure. Okay.
I know you talked about being on the opposite side of the road.
Right.
Which would be lesser impact, or maybe there were other wetlands that would be impacted.
Yeah, it might be slightly less, I think there's slightly less wetlands on that side, but again, we have such minimal impacts on the site anyway, you know. And then the other alternatives that we evaluated were, you know, to basically just grade off from the edge of the sidewalk, but that would have significantly more impacts on the wetlands than the retaining walls that we proposed. That's why we proposed.
And you earlier spoke about originally considering outfall in different locations.
Correct. You know, we relocated the outfalls to try to minimize those impacts on the wetlands.
It would have been a lot longer on that side, because there was no extent, there was no existing sidewalk on that side.
Anything else that was considered?
No, pretty much wraps it up. Oh, the bridge too, yeah. We had considered a bridge option. Which essentially, instead of putting a sidewalk in close proximity to the wetlands, we would have put a bridge.
The southerly.
Yeah, for the southerly wetland. But in reviewing that and evaluating what the impacts would be with a wall, we felt that the wall was a better option. Although it might have slightly larger impact, it provides a facility which is going to be a lot more resilient in the long term. We were to put a bridge in there, it's the kind of thing that would probably have to have a lot more maintenance and probably need to be replaced periodically as time went on, you know, which again becomes additional construction work in close proximity to the wetlands and something that the town would have to live with for, indefinitely, and the DOT would have,
It's more costly, and you would have had to maintain the bridge, where the DOT was going to take that.
That's right. So even though there's slightly more impact with what we proposed, we felt it was really in the town's best interest to put a sidewalk as opposed to a bridge in there.
Thank you for that. All right. I think I'm good. Well, that's good. So we can close the public hearing. One last chance, anybody, anything? Because remember, once we close the public hearing, we can't entertain any more comments. All right, so let's close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close IWC 17-011R, Morgan High School Sidewalk Connector, 35-71 Killingworth Turnpike, Route 81. Town of Clinton Public Works applicant, Town of Clinton easement owner. Regulated activity within 50 feet of wetlands. Construction of sidewalk for pedestrian access to school. Assessors maps 41 and 42, lot 45, lots 81, 80, 49, 77A, 77, 76A, 76B, 75B, 75A, and 75, zone R20.
Second?
I'll second Christopher. Oh, Chris got it.
All right.
Very good, Chris. Thank you, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Gave you a break.
Abstain? All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Folks, while we do have on our agenda the ability to consider the application to make a decision tonight, I think what we'll do is we'll move that off to our next meeting. So that'll be